From the Crush Studio in sunny Florida, this is the Disney Crush Podcast. And now your two tempests in a teacup, Dave and Tony Ann.
On this week's The Disney Crush Podcast, things gone by, Disney history, attractions, restaurants, resorts, things that aren't there anymore. Episode 441 of the Disney Crush Podcast is starting right now.
And we got to get right to it because if Rich listens to this, he's going to say we're talking too much and we need to get right to the point and too much banter. So yeah, you had a really a good response to the question you put out there, Tony Ann.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. I do have two bits of news
before we get to Till we get to the topic. Yeah. Okay. Well, what's the big news, Tony Ann?
Muppets Rock and Roller Coaster featuring the Muppets is coming May 26th. So that's Memorial Day weekend kind of in there. And they announced the 5 songs. And they're a little, our friend Chris Futrell, he said, they said they were getting rid of Rock and Roller Coaster because Aerosmith, because they weren't relevant anymore to the young kids. But I don't know that these songs are relevant to the young kids. I don't know. Did you see the 5 songs, Dave?
I did see them, and I'm fine with it. They can.
No, they're good. They're good songs, but it just is.
Yeah, and the thing about it is that when people say, and I kind of agree with Chris, but. Like when I'm talking to my kids and the song comes on sometimes, like an old Aerosmith song per se or whatever, or a Kansas song or whatever, songs back in our generation. And they'll hear it and they'll say, oh, that was in so-and-so movie. I don't remember that song. That was in so.
Yeah.
So a lot of these songs are in movies and they don't realize it.
And I was also questioning if Walking on Sunshine is really a rock and roll song. Katrina.
No, I would not consider that a rock and roll song.
They're going to have a Kelly Clarkson with the Electric Mayhem band.
It's kind of like pop rock. We'll call that pop rock. Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of poppy rock.
Anyway, so that's May 26th. So that'll be exciting. So that maybe we'll take one more trip this summer. I don't know, to see it, to ride it. And if you're at Disney this summer from May 1st until July 31st and you're an annual pass holder, you have access to the pass holder lounge. Mm-hmm.
Which is a nice thing. It's a good thing.
It's nice. It's a nice respite from the heat.
It really is. And you're going to need it because you're going to be almost on the face of the sun here soon.
It's pretty hot. Yeah, Epcot's pretty unforgiving. So the only good thing about Epcot is there's a lot of stores and things to jump into.
Yeah, and the pavilions. Right, exactly. You can go there and just chill out. That's great. Yeah.
Unlike Hollywood Studios, where there's nothing to do.
Yeah.
That's Andy's backyard.
Well, yeah.
The hellscape.
Yeah, and As soon as you get there, you can go in the stores, but then you kind of want to go to the back. By the time you go to the back, you're like dead, dragging, like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can make it anymore. Yeah. Yeah, it's a little tight in there. It is still one of my favorite parks, though. It's still up there. It was up there, and we're going to get to this because Uli commented on Hollywood Studios quite a bit. And it's always, even before all the new stuff, even before Galaxy's Edge, all the, before Toy Story Land, Hollywood Studios was one of my favorites. But anyhow, I digress. I
don't remember how I spent the whole day there before there was a Galaxy's Edge and a Toy Story
I know,
Land.
Looking back, right? You think, what did we do? Because now there is quite a bit going on now with Toy Story Land, Galaxy's Edge.
That's 5 rides that weren't there before. No, actually, 5 rides. No, 4 rides because Toy Story Mania was there. It was just the entrance was on the other side.
What did we do? I think what we did was, I'm going to start spoiling everything right now. One of the things I miss is that silly carrot cake when you first walked in at the little bake shop there.
Yeah, they still have it, but it's not the same.
No, it's not the same. No. Like little things like that. But yeah, because we could...
that little bake shop, which was starring roles, that was good. It was just too small, and that's why they had to close it.
Right.
But they had nice sandwiches.
I know. It was such a cool little thing.
Baked good.
And we could spend like
and that's kind of what our topic is.
yeah, we could spend like 45 minutes just doing that, just hanging out, eating carrot cake and sandwiches right there. See, that's what we did, Tony. And we just kind of hung out there.
That was a thing that I didn't have on my list was starring roles. The bakery at Hollywood Studios. Also, Hollywood Studios used to have a little sweet shop right kind of next to starring roles, where that right now it's like a Pixar store. But there used to actually be a confectionery with caramel apples and nice treats right there in that shop. And they made it all Pixar in there.
Yeah, that was sad when those apples went away, because that was our kids' favorite. One of our kids' favorite things was the caramel apples.
Yeah, there's no place in Hollywood Studios to get like sweets like that, candy of any kind, or confections, or the caramel apples. All that stuff is gone. Because that place was popular.
Very popular.
There was always a line.
Hey,
in there.
we don't even eat that many sweets, and we would stop there and get the carrot cake. You know, and we'd share it, of course. But I mean, then the kids get the caramel apple, and
right.
I know. I don't know. Who knows why Disney does what Disney does.
Maybe they'll put one in Monsters Inc.
I'm just
some kind of candy shop.
making a note. I need to talk to Hanover. He needs to call Josh immediately and get something done right away. Watch. There'll be a candy store there in about a month.
Okay, they'll put a candy store in now. So I was sitting around the other day, and I was thinking about talking about things that I remember from when I was a kid, or even beyond that, when my kids were kids, that isn't there anymore. And I wonder how many other people remember these things. And that kind of made me ask the question in our group. But one of my earliest memories, though, is the Diamond Horseshoe Review, which was where the Diamond Horseshoe restaurant is now. It was like Hoop-de-Doo. It was a musical show with Diamond Jim, and it was a whole show. And you went at night. I remember when we went to Disney the first time, we had to run back to that section to sign up for that night's show. And it was a big, they didn't make advanced reservations back then. You made same day reservations. So you would run to that. When you went to Epcot, you would run to these, futuristic computer screens where people would make you dining reservations for that night. So there was no advanced dining reservations. You made them day of.
That's crazy. Those were the days.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. It was a little spontaneity. Oh, I couldn't get into the German restaurant, so we got into the Mexican restaurant instead.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff's gone. But, you got to make room for the new stuff. Whatever. Things progress, Tony Ann. Can't stop progress.
Right. So on the first floor of the Contemporary, there used to be the biggest arcade at Disney. And I think it had a movie theater at one time. And it was called the Fiesta Fun Center. It was on the first floor. And it is now Steakhouse 71. It was the Wave for a little while, but it was the Fiesta Fun Center was what it was called. It was the biggest arcade at Disney. It's not there anymore, Dave.
No.
They put in a steakhouse instead.
They did. Yeah. Which is, it's okay.
Yeah. All right. So let's see what some of our listeners added. And I have my own that I'll interject here and there. Judy was there in 1972. So she remembers things that I don't remember. The one thing that isn't there anymore, or I guess it's two things. The first is the Main Street Electrical Light Parade, because that was the absolute best parade on Disney property. We talked about this 2 weeks ago, Judy, that I missed that electrical light parade, and Starlight did not improve it. She said nothing can take its place, not even the new one. No, it's not. And the original Journey into the Imagination with Figment, the version they have now is not even close to what the original was. And having the Dreamfinder walk around the park with Figment in his arms was the best. There are many other things that aren't there, but I'll let other people mention them. She loves that 16-minute Figment ride that they used to have. It used to be 16 minutes.
That's unheard of right now. That's quite the ride. Yeah. 16 minutes.
Yeah. But the ride was longer, which meant there was more track, which meant it had more cars, which meant it actually ate up more people because you could have more people on the ride at once. So that's what Disney needs is people eaters.
Exactly. What do you?
They call it the people mover, but we want people eaters.
Our buddy Glenn Kessler, thank you, Glenn, for coming on the show recently.
Last week's show, we got a very good response.
Yeah, that was great. It was a great show. You guys did a great job. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. That was gave me a little time to take care of a few things that I needed to take care of. So I appreciate that. Tapestry of Nations and its banger of a soundtrack. Give it a Google. Citizens of Hollywood, Disney's Hollywood Studios. Yeah, I miss Citizens of Hollywood.
They were cool.
There's a lot I miss there, but I'll get into that later maybe. The volcano fountain in the Polynesian lobby and its musty tropical mold vibe.
It did smell. It was very
But you knew what it was because of that smell. Probably, it's kind of like pirates. Pirates, yeah. You're expecting that smell, and if you didn't have that smell, you'd be like, okay, something's not right. Actual animators working at, I used to love this name, the MGM Studios. One of the reasons I became an artist. I did not know that. Is that true?
Cool. I guess so. Why would he lie to us?
Well, I'm not saying he's lying. I'm just saying if that is actually fact, that's pretty amazing.
I think Lilo and Stitch, if I'm remembering correctly, was the last movie that was animated there. I know they did parts of Mulan, I think, but
I don't know. I mean, he does say that, one of the reasons I became an artist, but I think you're an artist or you're not. You know what I mean? Like, I can't draw anything. I can't even draw a stick figure and make it look like a stick figure. But maybe that made him push him into more detail and more go into depth. Anyway, very cool. Very cool story. Thank you for that, Glenn.
Oh, no. It says the last feature film animated by Walt Disney Studios at Disney's Hollywood Studios in Florida was Brother Bear in 2003, followed by the studio closure in 2004. Other major films produced on that location were Mulan and Lilo and Stitch. But Brother Bear was the last one. I loved Brother Bear too. I think that's such an underrated movie. I really love Brother Bear. Michael's slamming doors tonight for some reason.
Yeah, he's been a little... I've been hearing a lot of Michael lately. Yeah, he's a little loud in the background, but that's okay. That's okay. We know he's there.
Yeah, that Tapestry of Nations that Glenn mentioned, that was a really cool parade. It was a parade through World Showcase with like puppets and it was really cool.
Well, the best parade was March of the First Order. Hello.
Okay.
We got rid of that. That was just so cool.
And I know down the chute, somebody, while we're on this subject, I want to find it if I could find that who it was that said it.
So you just blew right by my March of the First Order. You don't think that was good?
No, it was good.
No, it was great. It was awesome. It was amazing.
It was great.
Got everybody jazzed up, and it was just, I don't know. Used to give you the goosebumps. Yeah, nothing. Crickets, nothing. Zero, nothing. All right.
I thought it was Andy, but I don't see any posts from Andy in here, so I don't know. All right, you got one?
It's your turn.
Oh, it's my turn. Well, this one's short. Kevin Curtis Allen said The Magic. I disagree with him. I think it's still magical. So I'll go with Daniel Ginger, who said Hollywood Studios Mickey Sorcerer Hat, the great movie ride, which was his favorite, and that behind the movie scenes ride, which was actually, it was called the Backlot Tour, Daniel. The stunt course too. I thought the stunt course was in Indiana Jones. I don't know. Apparently my memory is not good because I cannot remember the actual names. Yeah, he's talking about the Backlot Tour, which by the time it closed was not the full experience anymore. So he's a sorcerer. He's pro Sorcerer Hat. I think it depends on the first time you went there. If you went there when the Sorcerer's Hat was there, you loved the Sorcerer's Hat. But if you went there and remember coming in the park and seeing the Chinese theater for the first time. That's, I think, what you prefer, what people prefer. For me anyway.
Well, one person's weenie is another person's not weenie. So,
well, they've got a new sorcerer's hat over at what used to be the Launch Bay, the new animation studio. It has a new sorcerer's hat that was just installed last week.
mm-hmm.
So
There you go, Daniel.
it's not the same though. It's not big like that, but.
Right on. Laura Nothnagel says, Delta Dream Flight. Anyone? Still feels like a fever dream. Oh.
Yeah, well, Delta Dream Flight, and it was called, before that it was If You Had Wings. And I think that was, maybe sponsored by TWA. I don't remember, and then Delta Dream Flight was Delta Dream Flight. So
Cool. She also said Body Wars. It was like being in the Magic School Bus. Yeah, I miss Body Wars too.
Michael was talking about Body Wars yesterday. He was running around the house talking about Body Wars. I think he found like a YouTube video of it.
How weird is that?
And he came to me asking if he could ride Body Wars. And I was like, Michael, it closed a long time ago. It closed in 2007. I actually looked it up because Michael he was watching a video and he wanted to
that was a
ride it.
long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And something you just completely ignored me about was the March of the First Order, and that's okay. I'll get over that. But that I think closed in like 2020 or 2019, right before the pandemic. Yeah. The great unpleasantness right before that. Mm-hmm. How dare they? I can't believe they took that away. But anyway, what else did she say? Moment of silence for packages being shipped to your room.
That's one of the things that never came back after COVID.
And Kay Pants says, all of these plus wishes. And Daniel Johnson said, yes, dream flight. So they're agreeing with Laura.
The packages going back to your room, I never really utilized that but I did used to utilize the packages going to the front of the park so that when you left, you could just pick them up at the front of the park.
Yeah, right.
I like that.
Yeah, it made life easier for us, didn't it?
Mm-hmm. I got to sneeze. I'm sorry.
Gesundheit.
Thank you. All right.
Is it true that your heart just stops?
Mr. Kessler, Jeff Kessler.
Is it true that your heart stops when you sneeze?
My heart stops when I sneeze.
Yes, I heard that. I heard that when I was a kid.
I don't know. I know you can't keep your eyes open and sneeze, and I've tried.
Okay, interesting.
You can't.
Okay. You did try. You've tried. You actually tried that and to see if it worked. If it was.
Because when I heard it as a kid, I was like, "Yes, I can," and I tried it.
Anyway, all right. Let's get back to the people.
I also, as a kid, used to try to use crazy glue to put an orange peel back together.
What?
To make it like a hollow, and I couldn't get that to work.
Oh, you're a weirdo. You're such a weirdo.
I am a weirdo. Yeah. All right. So Jeff Kessler says, baby Andy, that's his son, used to love Honey, I Shrunk the Kids Playground. A lot of people mention this in the post coming up. And while not an attraction, the brisket mac and cheese at Friar's Nook was what I looked forward to every trip in the early to mid 2010s. Yeah. So, and then he went on. He came back. He
circled back, just like Tony.
And I can't remember which Epcot ride it was, but the one where the theater broke into 4 or more sections that became your ride vehicle. I remember dinosaurs being involved somehow. That was, I think, Ellen. I think that was the version of Ellen's Energy Adventure before it became Ellen's Energy Adventure. I think it was in there. And Brooke Everett. Jen Batchelder said Jake was such a dinosaur kid. He loved that. And Brooke Everett said Ellen's University. Brooke Everett said Ellen's Universe of Energy. And aside from the dinosaurs, I also like sitting for 45 minutes in air conditioning. And the cordless phone the size of a brick was also a highlight. Oh, he kept talking then. Oh, and 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I rode the one in Disneyland a couple of years ago, and the memories came of climbing down into that hot, uncomfortable tin can. Yeah. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea was cool when you're a
Mhm.
kid, but if you're claustrophobic, it was not fun.
No, it was a kind of a tight spot, and it was a little musty smelling in there. It reminded me of the monorail in a way. Yeah, just that kind of little BO mixed with a little bit of I don't know.
And Lauren Nothnagel said the playground was so stinking cool and so stressful for parents because it was impossible to keep your eyes on more than one nugget. I guess she means one child. And Jeff remembers losing one of his friends lost their son. They put one person at the exit to guard while everybody else searched for him.
Oh my gosh!
I left my water in the other room.
Go get it. I'll wait.
It's all right. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Maybe Michael will come in.
And while she goes and gets her water and corrals Michael, maybe we'll get a Michael's moment. But we shall see. As she retrieves her water. That I told her that during this exercise program that she's in, they told her to drink a gallon of water. A gallon of water a day, which is ridiculous. You're going to flush out all the good stuff, flush out all your electrolytes. You don't do that. Don't drink that much. Drink when you're thirsty. That's it.
So Michael's swing broke. Thank God he wasn't swinging on it.
She's
high.
back. Did you retrieve your water?
Yeah. So
Did you
Michael's
retrieve your
swing broke.
water? Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
I
I'm
have it.
sorry. What were you saying about the swing now? He broke his swing.
His swing broke and that's how he expels all his energy is on the swing. So Rich had to send away for a part, like a industrial playground part. So it just came today. So I hope he can get it fixed because Michael has been a ball of energy because he hasn't been swinging.
Oh, okay. Oh, cool. Swing.
Yeah. People who don't know, he swings like
a lot. Yes.
He gets up at 6:00 in the morning. He's out on that swing and he's out on there after dark even. He just swings.
Yeah. There's something about a swing. It is kind of cool. It's kind of, yeah. I don't blame him. Yeah.
It's how he self-soothes.
That's good. That's a good thing.
Sometimes when he's frustrated, I'll say, Michael, go swing it out. And he does.
Swing it out.
He comes back and he feels better. So, yep. All right. So we were talking about Jeff and the tin cans. So
Dana Lee, movie theater and arcade at the Contemporary River.
That's what I was talking about, the Fiesta Fun Center.
River Country. The Epcot, where the characters rode the double-decker bus.
That's the post I was looking for. Yeah. So besides Tapestry of Nations being a parade around the World Showcase, there was a bus and the characters were on it and they would stop and they'd get off the bus and they'd greet the kids and everybody. And then they'd get back on the bus and they'd go to another country. So that was cool.
Yeah. All the cool stuff's going. Well, they got a lot of good stuff coming. So, I mean, they've done a lot since then. So we can't complain, really. I mean, come on, Galaxy's Edge, Guardians. I could go on and on and on. But I won't. I'll just keep my mouth shut.
Okay, well, speaking of going on and on and on, we love you, Uli. Uli misses Magical Express. Extended hours that didn't cost $110. The park being open till 1 or 2 a.m. I remember those days, closing the park that late. Mickey's Toontown. Meeting Tigger at Hollywood Studios near Echo Lake. Meeting Tigger at Epcot in Christopher Robin's room. Meeting Tigger at Animal Kingdom. Yeah, there seems to be a pattern here with Uli.
I think so.
Sounds Dangerous Soundstage at Hollywood Studios. The Great Movie Ride. Free fast passes, booking ADRs at 180 days in advance, and then changing all of them to accommodate your fast passes. The Hunchback of Notre Dame show in Hollywood Studios. The Pixar Pals Parade at Hollywood Studios. This is why Hollywood Studios used to be her favorite. Mulch, Sweat, and Shears. Do you remember Mulch, Sweat, and Shears? At Hollywood Studios, they were a band and they looked like gardeners. And
I don't remember so much that.
They used to come around.
I do remember Hunchback.
They had like this moving platform through the park. They were really a good oldie, like not old. They were a good cover band. They sang kind of old rock, like Foghat and stuff.
Yeah, I remember the Hunchback. That was pretty good.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids play area, the Streets of America, the Backlot tour, the Osborne Lights. That's her Hollywood Studios wants. And the Jammin' Jungle Parade at Animal Kingdom. Chasing poachers at Animal Kingdom. In the safari, it used to be a whole storyline with the poachers, Big Red and Little Red. And the Rivers of Light at Animal Kingdom. But then she said, just kidding. That's like missing Kite Tails.
I see. She was a fan of Hollywood Studios too. That just shows you how much there was to do back then. We thought there wasn't that much to do, but evidently there was a lot to do. See?
Yep. Uli always reminds me because there was a restaurant in the Contemporary on the 4th floor where the Contempo Cafe is now, the quick service. And it was called the Concourse Steakhouse. And they served breakfast, lunch, and dinner. When you went for breakfast, you got a complimentary sticky bun. It was a sticky bun. It was not a cinnamon roll, but it was a sweet bread. And that was complimentary. And so they had a good breakfast. And then at dinner time, they had a really good steak. And I miss it. The Concourse Steakhouse used to be on the 4th floor. And I think Uli worked there. I think that's why it reminds me of her. I think she said she worked there.
Okay.
Or I could be misremembering.
Well, yeah. We think alike. We love Hollywood Studios. Oh, I do. Jason Svoboda, the old penny arcade on Main Street with its movie reels and whatnot. As a kid, it was a detail that made the Magic Kingdom a different experience than any other theme park I had been to. And Scott Daves said, and the Magic Shop. I remember the Magic Shop. Yeah, that was kind of cool. Mm-hmm. And he said, oh, yeah, I had forgotten about that. Love those movies.
Yeah. There used to be movies in the back of, what is that? Town Square, where Tony's Town Square is, the restaurant. If you walked back, if you kept going back, there was a movie theater down there with seats. It was a great reprieve from the heat and the crowds. I would take the kids there so they could run off steam. They just played old movies all day. There were some, when my kids were little, this wasn't historical, but when my kids were little, there were like cutouts where you could take pictures with them, like with Steamboat Willie and all that, like that kind of stuff. I think I have pictures if I look for them. I could post them in the group if I could find them of the boys back there. But yeah, they used to just show movies all day. And it was really great to just get out of the heat and go and watch movies. I mean, it was all the black and white Mickey shorts. And stuff, you know?
Yeah, those are cool. Love that old black and white stuff.
Oh, Luke Barnett. He's missing some Captain EO. Dave, have you ever seen Captain EO? It's on YouTube. If people have never seen Captain EO, it's on YouTube. It had Michael Jackson and Angelica Houston. It was, I think, George Lucas, I think, produced it. Or I think George Lucas. And there were some Muppets in it, you know, like alien creatures. And Michael Jackson and Captain EO. That was something. Honey, I Shrunk the Audience, which is what replaced Captain EO. Alien Encounter, which is Dave's favorite ride.
I missed that one.
River Country and Body Wars. And it's really funny that he mentioned Alien Encounter because a few days ago, our friend Tori was asking what was in that building. And we were trying to explain it to her. And we were talking about when it was Stitch. And then we talked about when it was Alien Encounter and how scary it was.
Yeah. Do you know they had, they had several signs going into it before you even got into it about how, and several exits that you could get out of. I don't know if you remember all that to get out if you needed to, because it was pretty intense.
It was really intense for Disney. It was probably one of the scariest things they've ever done. But it's, and then we've talked about this on the show a couple of times, that they can't renovate that building without closing Cosmic Rays because it's all the same building and it needs to be treated for asbestos if they're going to like upset the the atmosphere in that
Mhm.
building. So they would have to close the whole thing and get all the asbestos out. And then, which is going to make, why do you want to eat Cosmic Rays? But the reason why they don't want to close Cosmic Rays is it is one of the most busy restaurants in the world.
That's amazing.
Like number 2, I think. I think it's the second busiest restaurant in the world.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's hard to believe. I know, but there's quite a few.
But I've looked it up. I've got confirmation from the Google.
But you know what? Disney holds quite a few records like that. Like Hoop-Dee-Doo is one of the longest running dinner shows.
Yeah, I think Hoop-Dee-Doo was the longest before it closed for the pandemic, and it was the longest running, continuously running dinner theater or show.
Yeah, and I think they hold the record for the most hot dogs sold ever. There's a lot of records they have. Dear daughter, I have a very vivid memory of the Honey, Liana. I have a very vivid memory of the Honey I Shrunk the Kids land and would happily revisit it. And Joy Cook said, my kids love that more than anything. Yes, Honey I Shrunk the Kids. A lot of people have chimed in about that. That was the kids like that.
I had a picture a couple weeks ago. It was our friend Brian Moynihan's birthday. And I posted a picture of him and Jen in the Honey I Shrunk the Kids area. Yep. Holly Austin, she's a Sorcerer's Hat person. She misses the Sorcerer's Hat. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Forget what I just said. We'll start over. Holly Austin misses the Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom. That was the card game that you started at the firehouse. Noah was just getting into it when they discontinued it. And Amy Rhodes even sent us a bunch of extra cards. Laura Nothnagel said one of her favorite days at Disney was when the crowds were super low and we had done everything. And we wanted to do something, just let the kids tool around. And they did it that morning while she drank coffee. The kids went around and played. And Amy Rhodes says she still has the whole set of cards, which is quite an accomplishment. That is quite the
accomplishment. Yes. I know that we might miss that too. We used to do it with the kids and then they kind of were like, Mm-hmm. But then we used to collect the cards for Dominic, your son.
Yeah.
So every time we went, we'd get him some cards. But not anymore because they don't do it anymore.
Holly Austin also said airline baggage check at all resorts. This made park days on departure day so much easier. They're kind of starting to bring that back, but it's not at all resorts. And I think it's only Southwest right now.
Yeah, there's been a little bit of circling back with quite a few of these people. They chime in and then they have to circle back and add more. They're kind of taking after you, Tony Ann. Everybody's like circling back. Okay, Deirdre Watts, the Osborne Lights. Yeah, kind of miss those. And that water tower with Mickey ears at Hollywood Studios. Not a Hollywood Studios fan. The rope drop show at Animal Kingdom when Mickey and Minnie rode up in their safari outfits. I miss when rope drop was an actual rope dropping. And Jen Batchelder said, yes, the Osborne Lights.
Do you remember the opening show at Magic Kingdom at the train station before it was on the stage at the castle? I understand why they changed that though. It was kind of a cluster. It was a cluster.
You know what?
Because everybody stayed in that area between the turnstiles and the tunnel, and the train station. Yeah. So everybody was trying to be there, so nobody could actually get anywhere.
It was a little it was a little jam. It was a people jam, not a traffic jam, but a people jam.
I'm gonna chime in with some more things I have a memory of. The boardwalk, I don't know if it was originally, but it might have been. There was a restaurant called Spoodles. It was an Italian restaurant where Trattoria is now, and Spoodles was replaced by Cat Cora's Cucina, which was a Greek and Mediterranean restaurant. And then that only lasted, so Spoodles was there 1996 to 2009. Cat Cora's place, Cucina, was there from 2009 to 2014. So it only lasted 5 years. And Trattoria opened in 2015 after Cucina.
Wow, look at you spitting all this information out. Wow. That's great.
Yeah, but I remember Spoodles.
I don't remember Spoodles.
And very few people
I
do
have no
when I mention
recollection
it.
of that at all.
Nope.
I think the name alone would have made me keep walking. Spoodles.
You did Deirdre. I'll do Joy. Okay. Our friend Joy Cook said, if you had wings by Eastern Airlines. Okay, so it was Eastern. She probably would know. The Tapestry of Nations music, which Glenn says is a banger. Google it. The sparkling lights in the concrete as you left Epcot exhausted. Before park breakfast at the plaza. Quick service at Be Our Guest, even though I never did that. Not being able to reach the pedals on the Tomorrowland Speedway cars. And number 7 is decorum. She misses people having decorum at the park. The quick service at Be Our Guest, I miss that too. It was nice when you could go in there for breakfast or lunch and not have the prefix meal. I liked the lunch there. It was good.
Yeah, I think Veronica did the morning one time there. She had a good interaction there with some guests. I guess she was in line. We talked this story years ago. She was in line and heard somebody talking about something that she wanted, but she couldn't get it, or something happened.
The rose cup.
I don't know what it was. But anyway, she talked to one of the cast members and ended up getting it for her anonymously. And the cast members were so smitten by her kindness that on the way out, they gave her a few gifts, like some cups and some other stuff to take with her. Anyway, cool. Scott Daves at Fort Wilderness, the train, the canoe tour out to the island, marshmallows, and do a sing-along at night. The cap guns they sold in Magic Kingdom and Adventureland. Same guns for Pirates and Davy Crockett both. Dumbo in the middle of the park, bumping into characters just walking through Magic Kingdom. And at Epcot, touchscreens to make dinner reservations, the real innovations, the Van de Graaff generator, Walter Cronkite right in the front of the monorail. Yeah, when you could do those kind of things until somebody got hurt. Ticket books, actual scratch that. It's basically what paid lightning lanes are anyway.
How much do you think the ticket books would cost now if they still did ticket books?
Ooh, that would be a quite the pricey little ticket book.
It would be pricey, yeah.
Yes, that would be quite the little pricey ticket book.
He mentioned, he mentioned the touchscreens that I had mentioned before, but Dumbo. Yeah, Dumbo in the middle of the park. That was just weird that they moved it. But they did.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, people don't remember where Dumbo used to be.
Right in the middle of the park.
So, it used to be right where, kind of where it was where, between Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and Pinocchio's Village House restaurant. It was
by
there.
Friar's Nook.
What? What'd you say?
Friar's Nook?
It was kind of behind the carousel.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Right.
Yeah. So.
And it kind of went there in a way. Kind of, sort of.
Marianne posted, I miss this. And what she posted is a picture of 2 actors in Magic Kingdom. They're kind of dressed like royal subjects, maybe Cinderella, people that were in the court, or people that were in the court of Cinderella or were at the ball. Maybe they look like that. They're just character actors, and they're just having fun with a random kid in the park. Probably might be Marianne's kid. That might be why she has the picture. The kid pulled the sword out of the stone, and the cast members are just making a big deal over her. So, yeah, I miss that kind of interaction. That's like the Citizens of Hollywood and Scott talking about how the characters used to walk around, and yeah, sometimes they'd go on a ride with you. Yeah, depending.
Yeah, and the Vikings in Epcot used to come out.
Oh yeah, the Vikings in Epcot.
Yeah, those guys were funny as all get out. They were hilarious. They had a little story. I was walking through, and I used to carry, and I still do most of the time, carry Hey Hey in my backpack. And they stopped me, and they took Hey Hey out of my backpack, and they had like this stick, and they stuck them on a stick like they were gonna cook them and skewer them and pretend they were talking to each other, and they were acting like they were cooking them. Yeah, they were hilarious. Anyway,
Poor Hey Hey.
yeah, but it's okay.
Yeah, there were people like that all over all the parks that
just pop up,
just actors that they hired to entertain
yep,
the guests.
and it was great. Yeah, great entertainment and great interactions, and I missed that too. Tom Ellison, lost stories like the Pleasure Island one, the Wilderness Lodge, and Artist Point stories. Markers, plaques around that told the stories about the fictional founding of Pleasure Island and other places.
Yeah. Disney Springs has a whole backstory, but they don't talk about it at Disney Springs. And that's what Tom is talking about. They used to have plaques that explain the backstory, because Imagineers, they really think things through, and things have a backstory, but we're not as exposed to it as we used to be. They used to tell the story. And I know Disney Springs has this whole storyline about being a spring, a natural spring, and all this stuff. And that's why you see what is that? I can't think of the word.
Again.
With the well that brings up the water, that the kids are spinning it. And ever see them at Disney Springs do that?
I don't remember any of that. No.
Yeah, it's like one of those wheels, and the kids
wishing wheel? Not a wishing wheel? Eventually. Wishing wheel?
No, it's like industrial looking. I don't know. But there is a whole storyline. That's why there's the little water springs around that area by Homecoming and all that. It's all part of the storyline. And Morimoto's is a bottling plant. That's why it says bottling plant right over Morimoto's. Yeah, there's a whole story about Disney Springs, but they haven't really leaned into it.
No, because not at all. They need to.
Yeah, that's why some of the things are built the way they are. Some of the architecture there is, so. But they don't tell the story. That's why I think we should do a Quest for Geek and Glory in Disney Springs, because we can find those things, those storylines. And I'm sure if you looked it up online, you could find out what the story is. But speaking of things like that, Dixie Landings, it was the name of Port Orleans Riverside before it was Port Orleans Riverside. It was called Dixie Landings, and it was not. So you had the French Quarter, which was called Port Orleans, and you had Dixie Landings, and then they decided to make them one Port Orleans, and they made Port Orleans Riverside and Port Orleans French Quarter.
Oh, I think our friend Bubba Mack was just in French Quarter recently.
Yeah.
And really enjoyed it. Good little spot. Guess what, Tony Ann? Scott did. He circled back. Yep. He's circling back. Okay, Scott, what does Scott have to say?
The further we get away from it, I miss when the parks and restaurants looked like this. Oh, he means empty. He's talking about the great unpleasantness. He misses when the parks were empty. And
stand back 6 feet.
Right. 25% capacity.
Those were the days. Yeah.
Yeah. He also misses the Muppets telling the great stories of American history in the windows above Hall of Presidents. That was fun and very short-lived, though.
It was good. Kayleen Stunts. This one, you see, completely forgot about this one. The Kodak shop at the beginning of Main Street. Duck boats on the water around the castle, and sword shop in Fantasyland. Yeah, I remember the Kodak shop. The Kodak shop. Yeah.
Wendy Fox said, "It's time to bring back the Year of a Million Dreams." That was a great promotion. Everyone had such hope to be gifted fast passes or better. Speaking of fast passes, bring back 3 unpaid passes scheduled before your trip begins. The structure was something to work around when planning your day, plus running to the fast pass machines. You've already heard me begging for Star Wars Jedi training, so I'll just say please one more time. Her husband, John, misses Maelstrom. I know Dave does too. And my kids loved Cranium Command. Maybe retheme it using Inside Out emotions. Yeah. Cranium Command was also in the Wonders of Life pavilion where Body Wars was. There was a whole pavilion about life. And there was even a little movie called The Making of Me that explained the birds and the bees somewhat.
Kind of, sort of.
Kind of, sort of. I think they left out the making of me.
But, they were close. Jen Batchelder says, Tarzan rocks. I'll never stop fighting. And Tables in Wonderland.
Yeah. Jen loved Tarzan
right.
Rocks.
Talks about them all the time.
I was thinking about Tables in Wonderland recently. If you don't know what it was a membership. You paid, I think the first time I bought it, I paid like $25 and then $50 and then it went to $60. And I think by the last time I had it, it was like $120. But what it was only Florida residents and annual pass holders and DVC members were allowed to buy it. And it was, you got a 20% discount on meals for up to 10 people. And it was good. In some of the quick services, like the hotels that didn't have table service restaurants. So like if I was at Pop Century, I could use it in the Pop Century food court too. It was good. It was a good discount. And you do the math to figure out how many times you were coming if it was going to be worth it that year for you to buy it. But it was great.
Yeah, never did it.
Greg says, Adventurers Club. I loved Adventurers Club. There's a video of me on YouTube. If you can find it, you can find me in the crowd. Comedy Warehouse, which was funny. They had stand-up comedians. It was right across the way from Adventurers Club. And I would go back and forth sometimes between the two of them. Cranium Command, he missed that too. World of Motion, which was replaced by Test Track. Live guides on Living with the Land. Yes, they used to have kind of like the skipper on Jungle Cruise, but this person was actually talking about the things that you saw when you're going through Living with the Land before they had a voiceover guy.
Now they just have tours and charge you for it. That's all.
Right. Laura Nothnagel said, all of these are solid and nobody believes me that Living with the Land had guides. And she loved Comedy Warehouse too. Yes, Living with the Land had cast members, telling you the stories about what you were looking at in Living with the Land. So,
hey, we can make some money doing this if we just make tours and charge people. So let's do that. Okay, your daughter circled back.
Liana.
I also liked when you got close to Disney. Liana, this is Liana, by the way. I also liked when you got close to Disney driving, you could tune into the Disney radio station. It made it even more exciting when you'd see the signs, at least for me. Tell you to go to wherever the local AM station was. So they told you where to go.
Yeah, there used to be signs that said, tune in till AM 550. And it was like,
got you all jazzed up.
To get you excited about Disney while you were pulling in.
Mm-hmm.
Jen Wynn says, in the depths of my memory, there used to be a Roger Rabbit, maybe Acme Factory play area around Backlot Express. Also, Backlot Express. And then she edited, she meant the Backlot Studio Tour. Backlot Express is still there. Yeah, the Backlot Studio Tour. And there was a Roger Rabbit thing back there for the kids. And Michelle Hardman agrees. She knows what Jen's talking about. What was that restaurant that was back there? Because it wasn't Backlot. It never made sense to me that there was the Backlot ride and there was a restaurant next to it. And then Backlot Express was at the front of the park next to Star Wars. But I don't remember what that restaurant back there was.
Oh, I don't remember either.
Dang it.
I don't remember.
I don't remember what that restaurant was called. But it used to make me crazy that wasn't Backlot Express because it was next to the Backlot.
You'd think that makes sense. Should be, right?
Mm-hmm. I don't remember the name of that restaurant. It was just like hamburgers and crap.
I wonder if you could Google it and figure it out and find out.
Oh, yeah.
Let's just ask the person in the phone.
I'm going to ask ChatGPT.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that one too.
What was the quick service restaurant in Hollywood Studios back next to the Backlot tour before Galaxy's Edge was opened? It's trying to tell me Backlot Express, but it's not.
Yeah, that's a little bit too in-depth.
No, I am not talking about Backlot Express. There was another restaurant that closed when Galaxy's Edge was constructed. The Studio Catering Company.
Oh.
That's what it was called.
Wow.
That's stupid. Why was it back there?
No, ChatGPT knew.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's scary. AI's starting to scare me.
Mm-hmm.
Michelle Hardman, I love reading all these memories. My top 2 are Alien Encounter. Love you. I still mourn it every time we walk by there. Me too. I'm the same. And Hydrolators at Living Seas that took us to the Sea Base Alpha.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was cool. There was something I thought of when I got to go back because I lost my place when I was talking to Chat.
I think that's it. I think we're done.
Oh, okay.
Nope, Michelle was the last one.
So I remember when Tusker House was a quick service, and it was my favorite quick service at Animal Kingdom. It had like half a roasted chicken. There was a really good chicken sandwich, and they closed it to make it Donald's safari meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And before Tusker House became a character meal, the character meal was over at Restaurantosaurus for breakfast. They had a Donald's Dino breakfast. And that closed, and they moved all the characters to Tusker House and made it a day-long character meal. And they took away my favorite quick service, which was Tusker House.
Oh, how dare they?
Very rude. Very rude. Also at Animal Kingdom, where Pandora is now, was Camp Minnie Mickey. And they had the Pocahontas show where she came out with the animals. And that back there was also the Festival of the Lion King, which was in a different theater than it's in now. They built a new theater. They kind of evicted the Lion King and knocked it down to build Pandora. So they built a new theater for it.
Right.
Where you go see it now. And the characters were back there at Camp Minnie Mickey. And that was where the funnel cake was, which they never brought funnel cake back to Animal Kingdom after that. They never put it in another kiosk or anything. There's no funnel cakes at Animal Kingdom. It's the only park you can't get a funnel cake. That's crazy.
And then they kind of slowly faded out the whole caramel apples too at Animal Kingdom. You notice that too?
No, they're in Zori's Sweet Shop.
Yeah, but sometimes they're hard to find. They said it was seasonal. That's what they kept telling us. Well, they're seasonal. Like, what? What are you talking about seasonal? Come on. Harambe Market.
Harambe Market was, replaced by Restaurantosaurus Light.
Yeah. Remember that? Don't like that at all. See? All right. Well, that was fun. Thank you guys for chiming in. That was great. You guys are awesome.
Very good topic, guys. All right. Well,
that's going to be it. That's going to do it. That was fun. And we love you guys. We appreciate it. Continue listening and follow us on Facebook and Friends of the Disney Crush and YouTube and all those places. And we will see you guys next week.
Bye.
And that's a wrap.
That's it. All right.
Barking truth has spoken!
Put a check on that. Can you do that, Dave? Can you put a check on that one?